Look, it's going to be big. Yes, I expect this to usher in a ton of capital flowing into Bitcoin. I expect Super Bowl ads. I expect NBA playoffs to be papered. Every golf tournament next year, it's just going to be advertising Bitcoin ETFs. It's going to be a massive land grab. Yeah, they're going to go nuts next year trying to win that.
Also next year, we're going to have the bulk of the bull run. I don't know how to express it, but Bitcoin will probably be in its bull run, which has already started, and that's obviously because of this expectation that spot Bitcoin ETFs will launch, as we discussed. So, what do you think the impact of the spot Bitcoin ETFs will have on the industry?
Look, it's going to be big, and there are pros and cons to it. Obviously, you've got a bunch of Bitcoin going into third-party custody and, kind of US government kind of having a little bit more control over that pile is what it is. But at the end of the day, if you want to have Bitcoin and you want to use it privately and you want to have it in self-custody, you can. And that's still the law of the land. And it's still going to be the law in many jurisdictions around the world, regardless of what the US does. So it's definitely not an existential threat for Bitcoin. And it is a massive pro for price development. Yes, I expect this to usher in a ton of capital flowing into Bitcoin. I expect Super Bowl ads. I expect NBA playoffs to be papered. Every golf tournament next year, it's just going to be advertising Bitcoin ETFs. I mean, it's going to be a massive land grab for these guys because, as you know, like when you want to trade NASDAQ, it's the queues. Most of the liquidity is in one ticker, right? And the spreads are tightest with the one ticker. And that's just how it goes. So they're going to really, really try to battle it out as much as they can and try to get as much of this market share. And it'll probably end up being, 70% to one of those tickers and 20% to the second, and everybody else will split the last 10 is usually how it works with these category ETFs. So yeah, they're going to go nuts next year trying to win that.
Do you have a projection for how much money you think will come into Bitcoin ETFs in that first year?
I don't. I just, I don't know more than what you see on Twitter, billions and billions of dollars. But I have to say though, I just want to say, like, don't trade this. Like, buy Bitcoin that you're going to hold for 10 years. There will be a vicious pullback at some point. There will be what feels like a crash in 2024 because there always is. It'll pull back like at least 40% on the way up to wherever it's going. Mark my words, there will be at least a 40% drop in the Bitcoin price at some point because there always is. And so if you don't understand Bitcoin, like anything, buy what you know. You should invest a lot of your time and effort trying to understand Bitcoin so that you have the conviction to hold for the 5 or 10 years that you're going to need to make it worth all of the pain of the volatility along the way. And your family calling you an idiot when it's down 70, 80% after the next crash, whatever it is, like, be prepared to steel yourself to weather the storm. We weren't all smiling last year.
Yeah, definitely not. So between the ETFs launching, then the halving, Bitcoin also reaching its 15th birthday, I wondered kind of like what additional milestones or developments you're excited about or expecting to see in Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean, we're still waiting for that party on Sailor's yacht at 100K, so that'll be a nice one.
Do you expect that to happen next year?
Oh, 100K in 2024? I'll be happy with a new nominal all-time high in 2024. Honestly, like that would be fine. I don't mind it building slowly over the course of the year, and I think there is going to be some ugly regulatory attacks and news, and they'll probably try to jam through and like ban on self-custody and an appropriations bill or whatever we're worried about with Warren right now. There's always something out of left field that quashes the unblocked, just rocket ship ride up. It never just quite happens that way. There's always something that pops up. So there will be something that pops up. I don't know what it is. But yeah, I think it's certainly possible that we see an earlier bull market. If you sort of look at the 4-year cycles, reaching some kind of high in 24 would be super early. Usually, according to the previous ones, it was end of 13, end of 17, end of 21. So we'd be looking at like end of 25. It does feel like it's off to an early start. And it does feel like maybe that means it'll burn out early. There's certainly a lot of folks, myself included, that think, based on the data, the real high in the last cycle was actually April of 21, and that the second one was just a leverage fake pump, mostly for Solana holders to try to get out of their bags. So they had to drive Bitcoin up falsely. There was just no retail interest basically after May of 21. That was all institutional. It was all leverage, and it was all just the Ponzi's last gasp essentially that drove the November 21 69K high. So yeah, I mean, 4 years after that would be April of 25. And if the cycles are getting shorter because people are kind of more attuned to the dynamics of the halving and kind of the decrease in marginal supply because of the reduced block rewards each halving, you know, you could see the bull peaks pulled closer to the halving each cycle. One thing I am pretty sure of is I think that the diminishing returns per cycle will probably be broken this cycle.
Diminishing returns, meaning that the increase in the Bitcoin price will be higher rather than lower.
2 to 1100 in 2013, like a $2 low to 1100, that was 550x. And then you went from like 180 to 19.7 in 2017, which interestingly was 20% of the rise. That was 110x. And then you went from 3150 to just shy of 69K, which was actually 20%. Again, it was 22x. So you literally geometrically went 550, 110, 22. There's no way we're going to see like a 4.4x rise off the bottom of 16K. It's going to be higher than that, right? So at least that geometric reduction in the cycle low to high is definitely going to break. I don't know what we'll see.
So that's roughly like what, 90K or something? So you're saying like you think the high will be...
Like, it breaks if you get through 70K. So if you get a new all-time high, you've broken the geometric diminishing returns history.
Okay. Sorry, I thought you said trend. 4.5, or I guess that'd be more like 80.
4.4 times 16. Yeah.
Okay.
That's 70. Yeah. I mean, and all I can say here is like, I will stick to my long-term target that I've been giving since 2020. In $20, $1 million a coin by 2030, and everything else is just a guess. But like, I'll stick to that. And I don't know what that's going to be in nominal terms by then. It'll have to be at least 1.3 or 1.4, accounting for inflation over the course of the decade. But yes, in $20, my 2030 prediction is $1 million a coin, or sat cent parity.